UFC 311. Just, going over the main stuff. Don't care about the boring filler fights. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Very fun, very competitive fight. Both have a very good future in the UFC division. I think it's time for Tagir to move on to better opposition. Clayton Carpenter also eventually, a few years time. I think give him some time, he'll be a very good contender in this division, which is the lowest weight class. Okay. Carol Rosa versus Eileen Perez. Again, Eileen Perez just seems she's like on a roll right now. Very good fighter. Nakamura versus Gufarov. Honestly, just Nakamura just didn't do enough. He's not good enough right now, but I believe he could be something in the future. Moving on to the prelims. Grant Dawson, Diego Ferreira. Grant Dawson, I believe, is 11-1 now in the UFC, and I don't think he's gonna get ranked off this fight. So I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the matchmakers are doing with him. I think give him some tougher opposition, and he'll maybe like start winning a few more fights. I know the lightweight division is competitive, but I think he could take on maybe like a Benil, a Moicano. I think he's like around that like 8 to 10 level. I don't think he's anything better than that. Moving on, Peyton Talbot versus Raoni Barcelos. Honestly, Talbot might just be the next O'Malley. He might just be the next O'Malley. What am I talking about? I'm talking about beautiful, crisp striking. Doesn't seem like he gives a shit about his wrestling too much. Honestly, like even though he showed some promise, he had the nice like takedown on Barcelos, but you can't. You have to work on your wrestling, especially in the bantamweight division. Killer wrestling. Like imagine what Umar or imagine what Mirab would do to this guy. Come on, or even Cejudo, who's washed now. But imagine what these guys would do to him. Yeah, so a decent win for Barcelos. Doesn't do anything for any of their careers except for Peyton. Maybe just take a few weeks or a few months off. Just focus on your wrestling and come back and show us you can wrestle because we know you can strike. Now moving on to the main card. Kevin Holland, honestly, retire. Renner de Ryder, you have potential. You might fight for a championship one day. I think his grappling is that good, right? I think he might be able to like, let's say by some miracle, like let's say Strickland wins back his title. De Ryder beats Strickland if we're being honest, right? Jalton Almeida, honestly, very solid performance. This guy could make a run for the title. Almeida versus Aspinall. I think Aspinall wins, but Almeida gives him a run for his money. Not a bad fighter. Yuri Jamal Hill. Honestly, how hard does Alex Pereira hit? Because I thought coming into this fight, whoever landed the first shot, just going to sleep. The other guy's going to sleep. Proved me completely wrong. Beautiful fight, amazing fight. Two warriors. I don't think maybe Jamal Hill's stock did drop this fight, but I don't know. In my opinion, both like just top top four light heavyweights easily. Like still very solid performance. Mirab versus Omar. Honestly, I did not see this coming. Obviously, we all saw Mirab just wrestle fucking. Honestly, we all saw Mirab just cardio. But I didn't think it would be this like that much better than Umar. Umar won the first two rounds, dropped the last three. Close rounds, but Mirab just edged him out with the wrestling, which is hard to say against a Nurmagomedov, right? Like Umar's clearly the better fighter, worse gas tank. So that's Mirab's edge. We always know that's Mirab's edge. And they're saying Umar broke his hand in the first round. I don't know how much of a factor that plays. I think Mirab would have still won the fight. Islam versus Moicano. This was a very tricky one coming in for me because always we see this where the number 10 guy fights the number 2 guy, the number 1 guy. Obviously, we saw Umar versus Sanhagen. Let's say, for example, Strickland going up to fight Izzy. Uh, O'Malley versus Peter Yan. The lower ranked guy just finds a way to win. This is not what happened here. Islam just showed his number one pound for pound status. This guy was just out of this world. People thought he got dropped. I thought he got dropped in a moment.